Now, we fix someone's e-commerce website, they can start selling their product again. Yay, there's cheers and they're all
Absolutely.
happy. Yeah, and we're happy. And so it's really great because it's this instant feedback for everything.
Welcome to Unstoppable Podcast with Harry Sardinas, inspiring conversations with influential millionaires, investors, thought leaders, entrepreneurs who are making a massive difference with their innovative products and services, and sharing the challenges and wisdom of how they sold their first million.
Tech entrepreneurs have succeeded more than others in terms of exiting the business.
Oh, well, I mean, I think, the big part is that system. I mean, I think, tech entrepreneurs by default, right? They're building a system. And, I think to solve a significant problem, whether that's in an app development or a website or some kind of even technology system that they're going to install within a business to help a business process. And then that by default, right, is they're developing that system from the very beginning. So they're, just like I said earlier, right? They're finding where that gap in the marketplace is, and then they're solving it with a system. If there's any, I think one of the things we try to do is enter more people into it, which I think is really important, so that it's not just a technology play. But I think in general, they're succeeding more simply because the product that they develop is more naturally a system.
Why you starting in this business? Are you software developer? Are you programmer? Are you marketing expert? Why? How you end up to become an entrepreneur? What's the story?
I think I've always worked for myself. I mean, from the time I was in high school, I always wanted to run businesses. I started washing windows. This is in the 80s, before the internet, and I think I saw an ad on television for a window washing system, and it came with things for the hose. And so I went around town and got some different little residential contracts with people to go wash their windows. And I think, to me, I couldn't imagine. I've worked a few jobs for other companies, but for me, it was about, when I worked for the company, I realized really quickly that I didn't have the ability to design my future, right? It was always about, yes, I could get a promotion and go to that next level. But when I saw things that I really knew were being done incorrectly or just not being done effectively in a business, I had very little ability to make that change. And it's super frustrating. And even if my way wasn't the right way, because listen, they're not always the right way. But the cool thing is I get to fail as being an entrepreneur. I get to fail, but I get to pivot really quickly and make changes. And I actually find that, really fascinating and enjoyable. I fit where a lot of people look at me and they're like, how can you be so comfortable when you start a business? And for me, that's the most fun part. The first 3 to 5 years, when you don't know all the answers, when you're trying to put together the puzzle. But to me, that's exciting. What's not exciting? Go do the same thing every single day. You have to look for,
100%.
you have to look for these little opportunities to do something fun and creative. And it's very difficult.
I agree with you, because when you're in business, every day something happens. Yeah.
Yeah.
Every day
is
a
different.
New challenge. Every day is new challenge. New problems. So that anyone told you that was no good idea to become an entrepreneur, that it's better to study and pursue your career?
I think it was, and maybe this is how naive I was, right? I remember when I started my first business with a partner, and we had rolled out of a company that had gotten too big too fast and failed. And it was in the early 2000s, and honestly, we looked around and we were like, what do we do now? And I literally just said, we should just start a business. And we jumped into it overnight. We had a little bit of business. I knew at the time we were just building websites and maybe doing some light branding work. And I think the naive part was like, well, I guess it's a leadership. It's a way I've led my life, right? I will just go jump in full force and do it with no real understanding of how it could fail. I just went and thought, well, sure, this is going to work. We're going to do this thing and people are going to want it.
Welcome to my life.
Yeah.
Welcome to my life. Yeah. We just jump in and then find out, like, oh, I didn't know this.
At the end of the day, it's that confidence that people look for, whether you've got a business that's brand new or whether you're 20 years old. People want to buy from you because you're confident about what you can do for them. And I think we showed that early on. And so, that really ended up being the story of my first business start.
Yeah. And I think I always work with speed of implementation. Yeah. So if I jump into a business very quickly, we start to do everything. So if it's not gonna work, we will know very quickly. Yeah.
Exactly. Right. Yeah. You want to know quick.
Unless they have a big ego and you are stubborn, which was me when I was young. I started my first business. Not my first business. My first business was profitable, very successful. The next month, one of them, I decided that I'm gonna open a restaurant in Brick Lane in London, basically. And it was a Spanish restaurant. And with mine, I didn't have any clue about anything. Rather than calling Lola Pepe, I call it Harry Spanish Tapa. So even from the name, this was set up for disaster, And, and oh my God, and then I have a girlfriend back there, and her mom was an entrepreneur. And as soon as this woman opened the restaurant, she told me, Harry, close it. This is going to fail. This is a very bad idea. Close this. And then I had this ego. I can make everything work because my first business was successful. I'm the big deal. I can make work everything. Oh, man. After 2 years, I lost 200,000 pounds. The 2 years of my life. The girlfriend, but obviously the mom told me, what are you doing with this loser? So, so when the business failed, was a total disaster. Also, the personal life. I realized that I did something wrong, right? Because everybody was out of my life. So I said, well, this time maybe I had to think a little careful. However, Dylan, this experience told me what I didn't want moving forward. I didn't know clearly what I want, but I realized, okay, this is what I don't want. I don't want any business anymore. That I have to be Monday to Sunday. That I have to do this, that with this race, with so much input, blah, blah. So sometimes the worst day in your life becomes the first day of your life. In your case, you said that the first business was fast, soon, and it didn't work. However, when you come as a second-time founder, the interesting thing is you started marketing plan, right? So you guys realize this is a characteristic of second-time founders. First-time founders, they're in love with the product. They think that they're going to make this product that's going to sell by itself, and they put a lot of time, money, and energy in the product. Second-time founders, they understand that, if you know how to do marketing and sales, you can actually after develop the product because to whom in front you can put it, or for how much you sell it. So how you guys, it was by kind of an accident, this marketing thing, or out of your first failure, you knew that now you're gonna be something sustainable. What happened, or was out of coincidence that you opened this marketing company?
Well, yeah. So I think the first business was a marketing branding business. The second business, we manage WordPress websites, soup to nuts. And so, and I like what you said, and it's exactly what I found. First business, and keep in mind, this first business ran extremely well, highly profitable, all the things. It was just out of alignment with who I was. There was not, enough of me in it. And so, I took the very best things from the learnings in that first business and into the second business, and not just for business sake, but right. So we interpersonal into it. So instead of me, so where were the failures? I worked 70 hours a week for 10 years. I didn't know two of my kids really well, right? I mean, I was a father, kind of, and that's horrible. Like when we dismiss that part of our life just for the sake of this business, it's a distraction. And so when I designed the second,
we don't know any better. We don't know any better. Exactly. How can we know?
Yeah. Yeah. So in the second business, I first sat down and said, well, okay, what do I want to, where's the problem that I want to solve? From a business perspective, but what kind of time do I want to have for this business? Do I want to set something up that has me working 10, 12 hours a day? No. I want to set something up too that's not completely dependent on me to solve every single issue. Again, building systems in place. So born out of that, there's a couple of things. More alignment with who I was and what I wanted for business, what I wanted from my family. And then also alignment with the time and what we would give our customers, right? And in that, it's a technology business, but with a very human approach. And that was the biggest gap in the marketplace. So it's funny, I took successes and failures from my first business and then reformulated into something that is all reoccurring business, takes way less of my time, solves unique challenges. And at the end of the day, the wonderful thing is, not just me and not just our customers, but our entire staff literally leaves work every single day, super excited because we solve hundreds of problems for customers every day. So instead of this first business where we kind of had to wait months to get to the end to celebrate the success, now, we fix someone's e-commerce website, they can start selling their product again. Yay, there's cheers and they're all happy. Yeah, and we're happy. And so it's really great because it's this instant feedback for everything.
Follow us for more interviews with world's most influential, audacious entrepreneurs that overcame challenges and adversity, providing you with the blueprint of how they sold their first million so you can grow your business exponentially.